Hi everyone. Welcome to my very first dashboard I'm sharing. I did this on Excel and it's a sales report and I want to share so that I can get feedback. So it's very simple, as you can see, and the data I used is a very simple data that was made available. I'm currently doing a boot camp with Quantum Analytics, and this was one of the assignments, first assignments that I had been given to create a dashboard for a supermarket sales report. And we were given a data set to get the created dashboard with. So I'm just going to stop talking about that and dive really into the dashboard itself. So as you can see, it's pretty simple. On the left-hand side, you can see the tabs where you have the gross income, the cost of goods sold, the quantity of goods sold, the average unit price, or the dollars, except for the quantity of goods sold, which is an absolute number. And as a sales report, the indicators are all compared against sales. You can see the sales per branch, sales by payments method, sales per city. There are 3 cities. And we also try to look at sales over time, looking at each hour, what was the sales made by each hour, to say at which time most sales were made and at which time least sales were made, to see the best time to push for sales and the least time to also improve on probably advertisement or make more decisions. Then you can also see on after that towards the right, we had made some indicators focusing on the product type. The first being the sales by product type. There are 6 product types: food and beverages, sports and travel, electronic accessories, fashion accessories, home and lifestyle, health and beauty. And then you see under that the quantity, which is related to the sales. So they are related. So if it's going to be high sales, of course, the quantity is going to be high. And if there's going to be low sales, the quantity of that particular product is going to be low. And then there were ratings for each of these product types, and I thought it was important to also put the ratings there to see how they do, how they relate to the sales, because they affect. If it's rated highly, probably there should be more sales. If not, there's a problem. Is it that we're not stocking enough? Is it that no, there should be some queries around why is it rated highly, but we're not making enough sales on it, if that doesn't rhyme. Then on the left-hand side, on the further right, my best side, I love slices. I had made 3 slices, which are going to make this dashboard very interactive. The gender, there are 2 genders. Then genders are indicated in the data given, the male and the female. And then they had 2 types of customers who were members, and then the normal people who were members of the supermarket. You know how you have a card and then you don't have a card. And then there were different dates. They were given different dates. The data had different dates in 2019, and I had indicated all these dates. So we're just getting into the data itself. So I'm going to start with, I've talked about the sales by payment methods, where you have e-wallet, cash card, cash, credit card, and cash. And the sales per branch, there are 3 branches, branch A, B, and C. And the city, there are 3 cities, Mandalay, Napatau, and Yangon. And the time ranges from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And also I've talked about the accessories. There are 6 of them. And then I'm going to just go now into how this dashboard can be made very interactive using the slices. So if we click on female, we want to see how the females shopped on, generally how the females shopped over time. So you can see that the females shopped more in branch C, and they shopped more with cash. They shopped more or less the same percentage across the 3 branches, and they shopped more around 7 p.m. and least around 5 p.m. And what did they buy? What products were they buying the most? Food and beverages. And the least thing they were buying were health and beauty products. And like I said, the total sales is going to be correlating with the quantity of product type sold. And you can see that food and beverages is 90%, and the least, which is health and beauty, which correlates with that. And the rated fashion and accessories highest, and food and beverages followed by that, and health and beauty list. So sort of follows that. And fashion and accessories was the second to the highest in sales. So this sort of follows in there aren't any queries around this. So let's look at meals. So for the meals, the second they paid more in e-wallet and cash, and the B branch sold more or less. B and A branches sold more, unlike with the females where the C branch sold more. And then you're having the 3 branches more or less selling the same thing, although the highest was the Yangon. And you also see that the times are the same with the female. There's the 7 p.m. is the most time where things were bought, almost sales were made, and then 5 p.m. is the least time. But for the males, the product type flipped. Health and beauty where it's the highest bought, where the highest sales are made, and then food and beverages where the least sales are made, and that also reflects in the quantity of product type sold. And when you come to ratings, they rated electronics most, which is the second highest, and health and beauty followed, while it's rated them the same. And then this rated sports and travel the least, but that's the third in the sales. So that's a question mark, while the rated beauty and beverages third in their rating. So that should be something that should be queried. So why are they buying more of sports and travel, but they're rating it least? So that's just something to think about. So we can also we can decide to filter this, clear the filter, and then go back to default and look at members. So how did the members do across board? How are they doing? Whether they were both male and female, because we filtered and it's still talking about male and female. So members paid mostly by credit card, and the time for shopping still remains 7 p.m. 7 p.m. is turning out to be the most prepared time for shopping, and 6 p.m. is the least for members, and branch C is where most members are shopping. Food and beverages is the most preferred thing the members are shopping, which is coming up a lot. And then the rated food and beverages highest, so that correlates. And electronic accessories was related the least sales, and it's also coming low in the least sales, with health and beauty, which were the least sales. So you see that these 3 indicators, these 3 charts are sort of like going hand in hand. Then let's look at the normal sellers, the normal shoppers. Not much change, still branch C, same around the city, so the city, but they're paying less with credit card, they're paying more with e-wallet and cash. By the time they're shopping is 10 a.m. So this is our first anomaly. It's 10 a.m., but the least time is 5 p.m. But there's something we're noticing, that the least time for shopping is either 5 or 6 p.m. But the first anomaly we're getting now is that the normal shoppers come around, those who don't have cards, come around 10 a.m. So that's, and then electronic accessories is what they buy most. And that's also rated highly. And health and beauty is also rated towards the low side. So that also goes hand in hand with the sales. Then we can now play around with this as we wish. So we can choose female and member, and that's going to give us something different. We can choose female and normal, and that's going to give us something very different. We can choose male and member, and you're going to get something different. And you can choose male and normal, and you're going to get something different. And then I'm going to move to the date, which is a very, very interesting part, because for each date, you can get all the details you want on all of these indicators. So for each date, you can see all male, female, member, normal, all indicators highlighted, all filters highlighted, clear filters. You can see all of them highlighted. You can see on that date, all of this is what we have overall. On the second date, you can see, oh, this is the status. There are some places where things aren't even sold. 7 p.m. is seeming to be, the time. So you can see that there are dates that 7 p.m. isn't the best time. What happened on those dates. So this is very interactive, and you can play around this, pick a date. Oh, how did the females do on that day? So was it Mother's Day? If a Mother's Day is coming, you can plan around things. Is there a celebration coming? Was there a celebration? How did we do on the sales on that day? So you can really play around with this data that we have here, with the dates, with the gender, with the customer type, and it just makes it very interesting for you. So the dates goes on and on and on. So you can pick for any date and play around with it with either of the gender or the customer type. And that's going to give you something very unique and information on any of these charts already indicated. So that's all for these charts here, but 3 other things I want to talk about. So one is that I had created simple codes to save them like in the macro for these buttons here. So in the coding section is under the developer, there's a coding section for Excel where you can attach to a button. So I've created 3 buttons here, the update data button, the about data, and the exit button. So if I want to exit from here, I can click this and it goes and tells me if I want to exit, yes or no. I don't want to exit yet, so I'm going to click no. So the about button tells you about who created this dashboard. So this is a bit about me. You have my email, you have my phone number, and that's this about the about button. And then if you want to update this data, so say, like I said, this is a very simple data that was used for this dashboard. And so if you want to further go down and update the data, this takes you directly to the data. And you want to add more things, which is going to include, which is going to further enrich the information on the dashboard, you can do that. And of course, this is, for authorized people. And what that button also does, that the code I've written, is that it removes all the filters that I've done. You can see that there are no filters. In as much as I had done some filters, it removes the filters and gives me my table as it originally is. Like I told you, it's a very simple table. It just has about 1,000 rows. It's not a very complex we're getting there. It's just very simple data. So of course, I have to find a way for you to go back to the dashboard. So I created also this button for you to quickly go back to the dashboard. So that's a bit about this. And thank you for listening. I want to hear your feedback. And of course, I'm going to do more dashboard, more complicated ones, more with huge data. And that can, of course, give you multiple sheets and more chats and or whatnot. So thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to your feedback. And now I'm going to exit, and thanks a lot.